Well, today in the studio, Brian and I would like to welcome our friend Douglas King. Hello, Douglas.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
Good, good. We're happy to have you here.
Yeah, Douglas, it's great to have you here. You know, Douglas is with Wheels in Motion Consulting, and there's so many things that we do and we stand for on this show about letting people live it up, really enjoying life. Well, when we had discussed that, Douglas has a disability, which we'll let you explain in a second, but that live it up concept, does it work with people with disabilities? And the answer is absolutely yes. So Douglas, having you on is a tremendous inspiration, and you'd look at things from that standpoint of different abilities, not disabilities.
Absolutely, Brian. I look at people with disabilities as differently abled, doing things differently. We can still do the same things as able-bodied people do. We just do it in a different manner, in a different way. It may take us a second or two to do something a little bit differently than the way the able-bodied person would do it, but we're still able to do everything that an able-bodied person can do.
And then some. You're involved with all kinds of sports. It's on sports teams that will blow you away.
Well, all of the major league teams, whether it's the Knicks, the Nets, the Mets, the Yankees, the Islanders, they all have a wheelchair team. And that's one of the ways I got involved about 20 years ago, is getting involved in wheelchair sports. I've always loved sports, and I've always been involved in sports, and that's just one of the ways I can get involved, with staying fit.
Yeah.
Now, did things move from participating in things like Special Olympics to the other major league things? Because you have a ring, I see.
Yes.
It's really nice, actually. What is that for?
That's the New York Yankees 2009 championship ring.
Okay.
When you become a part of the New York Yankees family, you get the choice of a ring, or that year happened to be the championship, or you get a watch, depending upon how things work within the organization. And Special Olympics, just to go back a little bit, is differently than the Paralympics.
Okay.
Special Olympics is more into the the hugs and stuff like that, where the Paralympics, which are going to be held in London this year, is more of the medals and the hardware, more of it, where Special Olympics is more into the caring and
the feel good. The other one's competitive.
Yes.
Very competitive.
It sounds like it's a difference between the hugs and the shrugs. The
Yes,
hugs, everybody with the shrugs, somebody loses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool. So tell us about your experience and how you have used your different abilities to make a difference for yourself and others.
Well, I've been disabled 40 years, and I was born with a condition called spina bifida. Spina bifida basically is a birth defect. I was born like this. What happened was part of my spinal cord grew out of my spine, and when I was born, the doctors didn't know that I had spina bifida. Back then, they didn't have the technology that they have today, and that's how it basically happened. My parents had the option back in 1972 of whether to put me, in an institution or, let me, grow in the real world. Luckily, they made the right choice, and, we were able to be a family, like a normal family.
Right. Well, now not only are you growing in the real world, you're speaking to businesses about how they should be interacting with employees and how different people should be interacting with folks with different abilities.
Basically, what I try to do, Brian, is I try to educate people about what people with disabilities can do. We can go out there and work. We can go out there and do sports and do different things. And the major component is educating businesses on letting people with disabilities being able to work. Again, they may need different modifications to do their job. And that's something I educate the employers on, is what they can do and what they can do, and also help the companies get grants from the government on whether they need a wider doorway for the bathrooms or a higher desk or whatever they need to help them perform their different duties within a workforce.
Right. I know there's one company on Long Island in particular that they needed folks in a mailroom, so they have hired people with autism. And that disease, how we call it, or that different ability really allows them to focus on, what's going on, a little bit more of a structured job description, shall we say. So it really works. It works very well from the employee and also from the employer's standpoint.
Correct.
And that's the message that you're trying to deliver to these?
That's basically the overall message, is to try to tell people that people with disabilities can get out there, they can work, they can get involved in sports and staying fit, and kind of, as your motto is, living it up. and which is the major thing. That we can get out there and do different things.
Right. And then is the great portion of the live it up side of it too, is when you're working with, I'm such a big fan of Douglas, you have no idea. But we're working with the folks that are coming, just experience some sort of traumatic thing, and it's like, oh, is life over? And the answer is no, it's not. So you're working with them also to get them back on their feet again, dare I say.
Yeah. Basically, what I try to do with somebody that's newly injured and newly disabled, especially the men and women that are in our military, I have strong feelings for them because they're out there trying to defend our country, and it's something I'm strongly for. When they came back or they come back and they're newly injured, they're newly disabled, they don't know how to deal with being newly injured. And usually within the first year, I'll sit down with them and talk to them about different things and let them know that, listen, hey, life's not over. I've been doing this close to 40 years, and these are the different things that you can get involved with, wheelchair sports and different things. You may run into a person that is injured or newly disabled just the way you became. And it's really one big family. Within the disabled community. A lot of the times when we're at events or doing different things, we like to, excuse the expression, but we sit down and we talk about different things. Whether it's, government things or handicap parking or trying to find a new van or a new wheelchair or many different things. And it's basically one big networking, and family.
I think that's phenomenal because there are different resources that you need. Maybe there's different product lines and different catalogs. And when you are, like you said, newly disabled or you're coming back from the military, a lot of times people go into a deep depression and it's very difficult for them. But if they know they've got someone like you that could be their friend and their mentor, somebody that can talk to them, that I think would help tremendously.
Well, usually within the first year, you sit down, you coach them, you mentor with them. You really don't want to get into, where to get a wheelchair and this, that, and the other, because they're trying to deal mainly with how they became disabled and what happened.
The trauma of it.
Of what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan and the different areas that they've become injured. And that's usually the first year of learning how to cope. And then you get into, okay, now I know how I became disabled, but now how do I get a sports wheelchair? How do I get a van modified? And that's really where I get in, and I steer them in the directions of the different companies that are out there for people with disabilities, and that's kind of rewarding. And when I deal with somebody, and let's say the new person is Joe, and I'll say to Joe, go over to this company and mention Wheels in Motion Consulting with them. And that's where you got the referral from. So this way the companies know how to deal, with that person.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story. Brian does talk very fondly of you, so thank you for coming down and taking part, because our whole philosophy is really to have a community where everybody can help each other. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're
That's
nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, love having you on. It's just
Yeah.
great. There are no excuses. It's just a matter of going and doing what you can do.
Absolutely.
So we hope to hear more from you.
Yes.
So it's Wheels in Motion.
wheelsinmotionconsulting.com.
Okay.
Where you'll find information about the company and basically how to get a hold of me and go out and talk to different groups and different people about people with disabilities and what we go through.
And you will take calls from nationwide?
Nationwide.
Fabulous. Thank
All
you
of
so
my
much.
information's on the website.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Douglas.
Thank you.
For these wonderful stories and more, please keep talking to us at liveituptvshow.com. We really appreciate you watching. We want to hear from you. We love your fan emails. We love your interesting stories. We love your ideas on what we should cover next. So if you or someone you know has a great story to tell, you can reach us at liveituptvshow.com. Thank you for always watching. We really do appreciate it. Take care.
Excellent. Great.
Yay!
Nice job, man.
That was easy.
Yeah.
That was easy.